What's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to StarCHaser Central, a podcast about Charles Hamilton, music, moments, and everything in between. I'm Sick Braxton.
And I'm Mike D. Jackson. Also, I'm officially not the father.
Well, I am happy about that for you, I guess. I don't know. We're coming off of Father's Day, so congratulations. I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know either, but what's more important is because you are actually a father, and so of course you were able to celebrate Father's Day. Your son just turned 10, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
So you had the double whammy in a good way. You feel me? How was that? How was his birthday? How was Father's Day?
It was a good time, man. It was a good weekend. You know, his birthday always falls around the same time. His birthday when he was born, it was his birthday, and the next day was Father's Day. So it's always been like a thing. So good weekend, 10 years. It's crazy that I had a kid for 10 years. It's nuts to think about. It just feels like time moves so fast. But it was good. I had a good time, man.
Glad to hear that, man. That's real cool. Dope.
Yeah. You doing all right? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously, like I said, no kids. Well, I will say this: the weirdest thing happened yesterday because it's Father's Day. The female coworker, she was telling everybody Happy Father's Day, and I didn't mean to give her a look on purpose, but she know I didn't have kids. She's like, "Well, I know someone's calling you Daddy, Mike." I'm like, "All right." The weirdest thing was later on. I normally I talk about that type of stuff on social media, but I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna bring that up because I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging or trying to. No, I'm trying too hard. No, I'm not gonna post about it.
Uh,
Hours later, one of my friends, she had a birthday recently. She was like, you know what? I want to tell everybody Happy Father's Day. Also, a special Happy Father's Day to Mike. I don't think you have any kids, but I'm sure someone's calling you daddy. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody getting this from? Why is everyone saying this today? And this girl actually knows me, so I don't know why she chose to mention me to be silly like that. And I'm like, all
well, I
right,
don't know, man. Hey, could it be because hey, you have a catchphrase? You know that, right?
I do, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily mad about it. It's just one of those things where it's just like it's just funny. At the same time, I do take it as a compliment because someone could be like, "Oh, bro, you look all homely, and I don't know why I want to have kids with you." If anything, it's people be like, "Really? What? Not yet? What? I mean, so hey, appreciate y'all, but yeah,
Well, I'm not gonna call you that at all.
thank you, thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
Yeah,
But we are here today to talk about a tape that I feel like a lot of people have asked for. I've been excited about finally get to this one. Um, we're doing Autumn Harvest. I believe the full title is Autumn Harvest is a bipolar rabbit.
yes, sir. Um, crazy, crazy name for a project. Because normally I just hear everyone say autumn harvest. I don't even hear the other part, but I know that is part of it. But this is one of the tapes we've talked about before previously, because this tape, along with 5 other tapes, came out July. I feel like a broken record, but this tape came out with a lot of other tapes, 5 other tapes, July 4th, 2010. If you guys don't remember that, please get it in your head because we're probably going to bring it up like one more time, I think.
Mhm.
But one thing that is interesting is just the name of it, there are a couple of different covers. I'm not sure if you remember like what is your favorite cover or what cover reminds you of this tape, but I know there's at least 2 with Bugs Bunny on there. There's one
Mhm.
like a solo white one with Bugs on there.
Mhm.
There's the one that I think most people might be used to where you see all the Looney Tunes on there, like in front of a harvest, as you could say. And
Yep.
then the one I was first familiar with, it looks like a picture of like somewhere in like the woods somewhere. But I remember I've seen them all, but are you familiar with any particular one?
Yeah, I've seen them all too. I think the original came with the wooded one, the one in the woods, if I remember correctly. Um, but as a cartoon connoisseur as myself, I'm a big fan of cartoons. Looney Tunes being a super classic. So if I rank them, I have the Woods one at the bottom. I have the Bugs Bunny one solo second. I really like the one with the Looney Tunes one. It's it's just nostalgic. I like it, and it kind of fits the theme of the autumn harvest type of situation. What about you?
Honestly, I would rank it the same way, just because if I'm looking at the whole title of the project, like if we just call it Autumn Harvest, maybe I'd probably rank it backwards. But if it's is a bipolar rabbit, okay, 2 of them have rabbits, one doesn't. And I'm not sure if you've seen the clip that went on Twitter the other day, but someone was bringing up just the looniness of Looney Tunes, like Bugs Bunny. Anytime, like I think it was with Elmer Fudd, where like, no, it wasn't. It
No,
was
it was
with
me who sent it too. The one with Daffy.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
with
It
that
was
it was who was
Wile
it?
E. Coyote.
Yeah, there we
Wile,
go.
it was Wile E. Coyote. Just the whole thing of like, okay, he has, a shotgun up to Bugs and he's spinning the barrel around, flipping it, turning it, and it's just like it's one of those things where like Bugs is so funny and crazy, but at the same time, like he is crazy because he dresses up like a woman sometimes and does a bunch of other things.
Nothing wrong with
Sometimes
that.
sometimes yeah, no, there is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes he's a doctor, sometimes he might be on a basketball team, the Toon Squad. It's like
The piano. He does a lot of different things.
I mean, we might have to start questioning Mario because Mario, doctor, basketball player, golf, tennis, all those professions. It's like,
Well, Mario's definitely a criminal. He was Dr. Mario. He had no PhD, just prescribing pills all over the place. He's a criminal. First off, he's not even a real plumber. Let's just get that out the way as well. Um, Shout out to all the baby boomers too, who get real mad about cartoons being like, "Oh, they're showing our kids too much stuff," and da da da. Yeah, I watched Bugs Bunny blast people in the face with a shotgun multiple times in different episodes. So shout out to you guys.
yeah, very much. Shout out to y'all. Salute.
Um, do you remember the first time you heard this tape?
Yeah, I do. I will say this. I think out of all the other tapes, along with this one, I remember this one the least because I know I've said it multiple times. Like I've heard the tapes and certain tapes I was getting confused with. But this one, I definitely remember listening to it. It might have been one of the first ones I listened to, but just when I recall, there's not that many songs I remember from it. But from when I first heard it, I believe I was like, yeah, this was cool. But it's kind of one of those, hey, this is cool. Let me move on to the next one. Let's see what the next one's got. But for the most part, I was like, yeah, pretty cool, chill. What about you?
This one's interesting because I don't know if I like this one right off the bat. I had a couple that I liked, obviously on the tape. It's 15 songs, I believe. So
Yeah,
you're gonna find likely you're gonna find one or two that you'll like, right? But it was the way he was rapping. I wasn't ready for it.
I got
The,
some notes about that. I'm gonna say it later, but I got some notes about that.
the way he was rapping, maybe the beats that were going on, and just the combination of the two, it was so jarring from everything that we had heard previously, right? So I listened and I was like, not, I don't know if I'm feeling this. Um, it wasn't until later where I went back and listened to some songs or whatever, where I was like, okay, I'm more. I think we had seen it more often in the years that followed, so it was a little bit easier to absorb. So when I went back, it was night and day how I felt about it. So yeah, it was. But that first listen was just really interesting.
Yeah, I can definitely. I'll speak more on it when we get to it.
Yeah. We're doing our one of our favorites is our favorite three on this review. Um, would you like to start us off? Or you want me to start us off?
I think it's best if you start us off, just because when I went through it a couple times, I had three picked, and I was like, man, I feel like you might take some of mine for real on this one. So I was like, let me do a couple extra ones for backup. But yeah, go ahead.
Ah, okay. This is another one of those ones where it's like I had five that I could definitely pick from.
Yeah.
Um, right off the bat, I'm gonna go Little Bo Peep.
All
Love that
right.
record. Morning Radio. Love Morning Radio. And then I'm gonna go with Moody.
All right.
Those are my three. I'll tell you, Morning Radio. Again, it's one of those ones where originally maybe I didn't like it or I didn't listen to it fully, but somewhere around 2014, 2015, that was my driving to work like soundtrack. Like, let me just distress before walking into this place that I don't like, right?
Right.
It just has that real, Mary Tyler Moore type of like energy to it, like that real, ready to go to work and just home. It soothes you when I listen to that record, man. Um, yeah, I just and then like at the end where it's like that has that little space where it's just beat instrumental. Oh, right. Oh, while I'm driving in, I do a little freestyling just to get myself warmed, jog the memory, jog your mind up, do great for work, man. Just an exercise, man. I really love that record. That's one of my favorites.
I am going postal. My I am is offline until I sign in. Good morning. Pick up my morning paper and I'm on my way. Good morning. Show love to all my neighbors and enjoy my good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Moody's like not frantic, but it comes right before morning radio, and it's the two energies are different. So like when you listen to that one first, it's like kind of high energy, kind of, I don't know how to explain Moody. I don't know. It's just it's a good title for it. You know what I'm saying? Just based off the way the beat flows, the way that he's rapping on it. And then Little Bo Peep. I've always liked Little Bo Peep. That was one of the ones that I liked from the jump. Great hook on there. Let me write your name on tape. You know what I'm saying? I love that record. And then that second verse is probably my favorite of those two, but there's three really good verses on there. I think Charles is really rapping on there. Again, once you get past the rap style and the flow that he's using and the beat, the combination, it actually matches up pretty well.
Smack. My name on your taste buds, with my taste buds. Is it me or do I taste you already know. Or is it you and me and I can taste love? Or is it you and me and I can taste love? You look like my girl, I look like the man. You look like my girl, I look like the man. You look like my girl, I look like the man. You look like my girl, I look like.
But those are my three. I don't know if you wanted to talk about any of those. I don't know if those were one or if any were on your list.
One was on my list, but I can talk about two of them. One was on my list, but I can talk about two of them. So the one that was on my list was Morning Radio, which is crazy for you not to really like that one. 'Cause I feel like that's kind of like a popular one on this tape. Maybe not the most popular one, but definitely one that everyone would like to enjoy. Kind of the same sentiments as you. Very relaxing song, very chill. Charles starts off saying, he wants a bacon, egg, and cheese, and just get his breakfast, and he's out the door, and it's very positive. It has like a very positive affirmation feel. Makes you feel like you're on the right track to have a good day. Like just everything, nothing has gone wrong yet. It's one of those things where you're just stepping out the door. It's like everything's going to be right. Everything's going to be okay. Just one of those type of things where it's like, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So it definitely has a good feel to it. So it's one of those things where I'm like, you know what, this is one of my favorites from the tape, but definitely a good song overall. Moody wasn't one of mine, but it was interesting because I said it's a fun beat flip, lyrical, and then very catchy hook. Hook was, kind of simple and whatnot, whatever. But it's just one of those things where I just think that Charles wanted to snap on the song in more ways than one. You said with the rapping, like he's just like very here, there, everywhere. And then with the beat, the chops are just wild, because at the end of the song, it's just like the beat's just going. It's like maybe for like maybe 45 seconds or something like that, minute, and beat's just going crazy. So even if he didn't like put a verse on there, it's just like, he snapped on this. What? And you would only want to imagine what he would say on there. Then you heard what he said on there. So like, I think he really just wanted to lyrically, he wanted to snap on there, and then instrumentally he wanted to snap on there and just put them both together. Like it wasn't really that the song had to be about anything. He just wanted to snap. So I'm like, all right, So but for me, I would say my three, I'll say, man, I'm surprised you didn't pick some of the ones I was going to pick, but all right. So my three, I'll go with Bunny to a Rabbit, Crash at Her Place, and Tacos. I'll go with those three.
Okay.
So Bunny to a Rabbit is one of those things where like I've always heard the song and I'm like, it's cool, it's whatever. I think just recently, as of late, I've been vibing more to it. It definitely beats dope, kind of lyrical again with this one, kind of like you said with the flow. It's kind of a pattern in this project, but the beat sounds serious. I won't say it sounds urgent, but there's definitely the conversation in the song is about, there's a lot of growing up to do, be a man, more than a night. It's one of those things where, you got some stuff you got to change. And It's about responsibility, accountability, and I think I've just been feeling that song a lot more recently. Just we're getting older. It's like, hey man, just like you gotta make sure you're definitely on your P's and Q's now. You can't really afford to mess up now. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I'm rocking with that one a lot more now.
And indulge in a sinner's heaven. 14 in addition to 7 to get the message. I can't wait to grow up. I can't wait to grow
up. Second, Crash at Her Place. It's funny because it's a really good song, and then with the song, like the sample is like one of those like 90s house dance songs that if you hear it, know it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially if you're a millennial, you've heard it everywhere. And there's like 4 or 5 of those house songs that like came out back then at that time that you just know. Like, oh yeah, I know this song. You might not know the lyrics, you might not know the actual name of the song, but you know it if you heard it. But it's crazy because it has like that dance vibe to it, but the way that Charles flipped it, it's not really a song you really want to dance to. It's kind of somber, I feel. It's like a good mix of it because he's talking about, seeing his girl or maybe an ex-girl or some girl that he was passionate about and wanting to crash at her place. Just like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. Just if I can I stay the night? I didn't mean to rhyme, but, bars. Seriously, I did not. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like seriously, like if I can stay the night, that'd be appreciated. It sounds like more like he's just not even asking for like a favor for a favor, but seriously, hey, I'm in need. Can you help me out tonight? I appreciate it. Not even trying like to really try some funny stuff on you. If I can still depend on you, I appreciate it. So it's interesting that he took that approach on it, but it's a really good song.
Watch me knock your socks off with a gust of wind. Just friends we are, pretty hard. Now remove your pretty bra, let's fall asleep, please. I won't be all up in your face. I just really miss your blanket when you're under. I just really miss your blanket when you're under.
And then I'll go with Tacos. Crazy beat flip. The flow is wild. Flow's so wild that Charles is going so crazy on the beat that he can't even finish the first verse. Like he ends up stumbling, and then you hear all right, slow down, man, just chill. Then he's going to the hook. Tacos.
Yeah.
Tacos. And then talking about they're about to get tacos and gorditas, so it's a simple hook, but it goes well because that's what it's talking about. It's another song where I feel like Charles just wanted to snap again. Just wanted to snap, like kind of like Moody, just wanted to snap on something. And then he really didn't have an idea for like a hook. Obviously the beat is inspired by the hook, vice versa. So it's like, you know what? Tacos. That's all I'm calling it. I'm calling it tacos. We're going to talk about getting tacos. And they might not even got tacos that day. But either way, those are going to be my top 3.
Yeah, I think tacos you got to play on Tuesday, especially if you're getting tacos. It's just we about to get tacos.
Got to.
Yeah, and gorditas. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
I feel like when we did our essential, well, maybe it was it was either the essential playlist or the love playlist. I think Crash was. Did you throw out Crash, or was that something that people talked about a lot, like Crash Airplays?
I've heard the song, but I don't think I actually picked up on that one. I think it was more like everyone else, like the StarCHaser actually promoted that more, and then me and you were like, "Oh yeah, we definitely got to put that on there." So
I understand why people love that song. I do. Like I said, the flip is really good. I listened to it again. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times in prep for this episode. And I feel slightly better about it, but again, I don't think it like eclipses, like if the tape is cut up into thirds, it's like in the middle third. So like it's not the top 5 to me, but it's right there in the middle. A lot of this tape is like great flips, like stuff that we're just like, bro, what are you doing? Like Moody, for example. You're taking Happy Days, bro.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, but it's such a great flip, and that beat is so crazy. And then there's a few other ones on here where you're just like, bro, I wonder what his his thought process was it being called being a bipolar rabbit. Maybe that's kind of the idea of the tape, right? Is let's just combine two frantic things. This flow that's just like speedy, but rabbits are fast. Like they really short legs, they really fast or whatever, right? And then combine it with beats that maybe aren't as conventional as you're hearing during this time period. And let's just combine the two. What's your thoughts on like maybe his thought processes during this tape making?
Honestly, I don't know because I kind of figured, and of course, Charles, of course, so much and stashes stuff and then puts it out. Because I was thinking, when this tape came out along with the other five, I'm like, okay, they're probably all recorded around the same time, but they all have different sounds and feels to them completely. And I was trying to look up, some information on this tape and couldn't find much, because the internet is not much about it. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me look up, what autumn harvest is. And I know what it is, but I'm like, just in case there's something that's going to like kind of link it to it, and not really, a harvest during autumn or fall, where you get your crops and you're like, oh, I got all this plentiful stuff. Yes, let's celebrate and embrace this, and the whole bipolar rabbit thing. I'm like, okay, like rabbits are definitely frantic. They have their moods. They can be moody, I don't know if he felt like he was rapping as Bugs Bunny or some type of other rabbit, Buster Bunny, Tiny Toon. Shout out to them.
Shout out to Buster, yeah.
And also Babs, no relation. Had to say that.
Fair.
But I don't know. The only thing I think of now, because like you said, like how he was rapping on it and what he was doing with the beats and the lyrics, it's that story that I want to say was it Shumpert, I think, that told about Kobe, where he did some off the back, behind the back, and this threw it like this and threw it like that. He said, bro, what did you want? That's literally like, I feel like that's what we're like Charles, what would you want? Not in a bad way, but it's like you doing too much. But at the same time, it's like, I'm rocking with this. I'm rocking with a lot of this stuff, but at the same time, like, what?
Yeah. I know you had said you were gonna bring up when I brought up the rapping style. Your face immediately started smiling because you're like, yeah, it's very interesting. I don't even know what type of question to ask about this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's he's done it later on as his career like blossomed, but never to this extent, like for a whole tape. I don't think. To me, that I remember.
So this is not necessarily a question, but something that I kind of pondered on, and maybe you can maybe agree or disagree, and just give your 2 cents about it. So how I compare this is like very rapidy. Like it's not always lyrical, miracle, spiritual. It's just the best way I explain it is like Eminem, right? So Eminem, like, when he got to a certain point in his career where like Eminem's always been lyrical. He's always, been great with metaphors, similes, and all that type of stuff. But I think it's like right when Eminem came back, like he started having this flow where, and the best way I can explain it is like, I've heard him and Rakim talk about this. When they're trying to fit so many metaphors and similes into a line, they're cramming so much into one bar. And that's like what Charles, I feel like he was doing, like taking everything that he could actually like double, triple, quadruple entendres if he has to do that, or similes, whatever, just cramming everything into one bar, next bar, keep cramming and keep cramming and keep cramming, next bar. So like I said, to me, like sometimes it can sound like word vomit, because if you're not actually just paying attention, like you're just listening, you're just gonna be like, wait, what did he say? Not that you didn't hear him, but it's just like so much to hear at once and to try and take in at once. This is like, what is he talking about? You know what I mean? And it reminds me of like Eminem, like at a certain point in his career doing that. And sometimes to Eminem's detriment, because I remember we talked about before on certain songs where like he's not necessarily out rapping the beat, but just trying to out rap everything at once. And then sometimes it's just like, yeah, like bar wise, like if you read it, yeah, it's fire. But at the same time, like it doesn't always correlate, the way that you think it does. Like it's not necessarily bad, but sometimes a little too much. You might have to slow down. That might have to do with the bipolar thing, because with bipolar people, of course, they have their own emotions, their own feelings, and sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're not, and that could be just the rapping style, just bipolar.
Yeah, I can see that. This is one of those tapes where like if you can get a hold of the lyrics and read what he's saying, oh, he's probably going like it makes like, okay, cool. Now I can go back and listen to it and I can hear it. But if you don't have that on hand, it does just sound like he's just like word vomit, like quickly. Like you have to really go back, or you have to really pay attention to what he's saying. Some songs are a little bit easier, like Little Bo Peep is a lot easier with some of the stuff that he's saying. Morning Radio is another one where it's a lot easier to kind of comprehend what he's saying. But there are other songs like even let me see, even stuff like Neighborhood Watch, stuff like Things to Do List. Like those are kind of like you got to really pay attention to what he's saying to actually understand where he's going with the tape or whatever. I don't mind it now, but like I said, that first listen, I was just like, bro, you gotta slow down, bro. Like I'm used to rapping and the rhyme happened at the certain point in the beat next bar. You know what I'm saying? But like this was it was like 2 in 1 spot, and it's like it was a lot. It was very, like I said, very jarring was the word I was looking for. I know we put Arcade Sparks on our essential playlist, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least bring it up. I think the best intros have like that great first line that everybody recognizes. I nod my head like a disco ball. Everybody, if you say that, everybody knows where that song comes from. So I think it's one of those things where it's like that's why it's so memorable, because like it instantly brings you in, especially with that beat, the horn that pops in right from the jump. So I just wanted to bring that one up too. Yeah.
I real quick. It's funny because we did put that on one of our lists, and at the time, like I remember the song, but when we put it on the list, it was more for me being like, well, yeah, just put it on the list, whatever.
Yeah.
Going back to listen to this, like the first time I went back to listen to this tape, I remember being like, yo, I let you put this on the list. Yo, I hate this song. This is, oh my God. And once again, we're talking about him rapping so, rapidly, and the beat, because it has that jazz flip, feel to it. The beat, I don't have a problem with the beat, and then the chops. So I think it's like I said, jarring, where it's like he's rapping so crazy on there, and then the chops. And then I thought about it because I listened to it even more and more and more, and like I've grown to like it more. Like I don't think I've ever hated the song, but at that, I don't know what it was. Just me going back to listen to it, I was like, I really don't like this. What is this? And I don't know. I remember being like, you know what? Now that I'm listening to it a couple times, once you hear the chops at the end, imagine someone else rapping a different way. I don't know if you can rap on that beat any other way. Like you have to kind of have to do that. And the way Charles made some of these beats, I'm like, you kind of have to have that type of flow, Like there's certain beats and certain songs where you can be like, oh, you can do a slow flow, a fast flow, a middle of the fast, a little, you could do what? No, like in some of these beats, it's just like, this is it, that's it. You're going 96 miles per hour,
yeah.
And you can't go you might not be able to go any faster. Definitely can't go any slower. But yeah, definitely on one of our playlists. Check that out if you haven't. But yeah. I like it a little bit more now compared to like when I first listened to this again. I was like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this tape.
It's crazy because like again, if you never heard him rap like that, instantly you're like, what the fuck is this? Like no matter who you are, like bro, you're like, yo, whoa, I'm not anticipating this. So I understand that, but I think like as time goes on, we can appreciate. Like you said, we can appreciate the what he did with it, and like it, as an intro more. Especially, it kind of definitely sets up the rest of the tape, because that's what you're getting. Like just so we're clear, that's what you're getting. Now, how about some songs that maybe miss the mark for you, or you're just like on the tape?
All right, I got you. So, first song I can say. Actually, no, let me skip around first. I'm gonna go to the last song on the project, Zoloft. Zoloft Woodstock, I think.
Yep.
Overall the song's okay. I really don't have a problem with it. I see, how some people could like it. I'm just not really a fan of it. I think overall it's the hook where it's like, get happy. Like part of me is just like, not saying Charles being sarcastic about it, but like I think a person reminds me of like when I was younger and I used to like never smile, and people were like, come on, smile, and try to get me to smile.
Yeah.
And like when people like, I fucking hate when people do that. I feel like that's what the hook was doing, So I'm like, I'll be happy when I want to be happy. Damn it, what I mean? I'll smile when I want to. But
that's fair. Yeah.
It's not, like I said, it's not really a bad song. I just personally, I'm like,
I also don't think that this is another one of those examples of it doesn't match what happened in the previous 14 songs. I feel
True.
like he doesn't do that rapidy rap flow. I feel like the beat is a little bit more contained than all the other ones. So have we just been missing the fact that he does this on almost every tape?
It could be. I think what threw me off is because like you said earlier, things to do list. Like on that song, he was doing that, like the rappy rap thing. Then the tape ends with something that's not even doing that. So in my head, like maybe if this wasn't the song that ended the tape, maybe something else did, then maybe I have a better feeling about it. But just overall, I'm just like, eh. Uh Other than that, I would say um Ford March, honestly, for that song, all I have is eh. Like literally, that's all I feel about the song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other than that, I mean, I kind of said about Arcade. Already kind of talked about that, but I've
Right.
grown to like that a little bit more. But if let's say if I had to say like another one, it's not one that like I feel missed the mark. I'd probably say Crush Proof Box. The song's okay, but I don't feel much from it. It's just like it's an okay song. It's cool. I don't really have much notes about it, so it's it's okay compared to the other two I just named, where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Doc. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, everything else, was definitely a bit higher, or I had more regards and notes for. So what's up with you? How you feel about it?
Uh, I probably would say Navila. As much as I would love to love Navila, it's a wild song. Like
Definitely.
it's a wild song, bro. Um, and it's not the greatest of topics during 2024, right? So it's kind of hard to listen to in that series. But also, it's just as a song, it's just like, I didn't need it. I could do without it, Silly Putty, same thing. I'm
Ah,
not a fan of Silly Putty, bro.
ah,
Mm, yeah, I just nah, I can't do it. It's
damn.
it's nah. I was gonna even say it was just cool, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't know. Like that stretch from the Villa Neighborhood Watch to Silly Putty, it's just iffy. It's like it's a bad stretch for me as far as like the tape itself. Um,
Right.
and then things to do list. I would like things to do list a lot more, but it does something funky with that beat at the end or during the beat, and it just does this weird thing. I forgot. I don't know how to explain. It's like run, and it just takes you out of the song like immediately. Like if he removes that, I think I like it a little bit more. Um, but yeah, that part is just because he's rapping pretty well, and the hook's okay, but then there's just that whatever he does in that beat, it just takes me out of it every time.
Wow. It's crazy because um I guess I got it backwards. I was thinking some of the songs that I would like, you were probably going to like. We had the same thing.
Mm.
Now, for the songs we dislike, you like dislike two of the songs that I had on my like list, but I was like, I don't know if I want to put them on there just because like you might choose them. But um Silly Putty, I actually like that one. That was honestly, I'd probably say that's like fourth for me. Like it's not my top three. It
Got it.
just missed it. For me, my notes, I had to put this radical, tubular, and gnarly. Because the beat, it has that, cool spot, 7 Up, surfing type of vibe to it, and Charles is rapping to it. I like it. Beats crazy, hooks crazy, the flow's dope. I like it. I don't know. I like it. I rock with it. Also, he's talking about minding his business, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why you don't like it, because you haven't been minding your business recently. I don't know, just
Like all I do is mind my business.
I don't know, man. You might need to try harder. Nah, but
All, all I do is mind my business.
nah. It's I do like that song. Things to do list wasn't on my top three list. Definitely something it had like a serious tone to it, but a real vibe. And I like the hook. He says feel like changing the world because he feels like it. At the same time, I thought about it. I'm like, this is supposed to be a bipolar rabbit. Is he changing the world for the better or the worse? Because you could do both. You know what? I'm gonna end the world because I feel like it. It's like, but it's one of the songs I'm like, I rock with. Navila though, like you said, the beat's hard. Listen, I'm sorry, the beat's
It's a
crazy.
good beat.
Yeah, but then the hook, yeah, man. I'm assuming like obviously not like a true story, but just the whole thing of him being like a disruptive student and troublesome student, but really liking a girl he went to school with. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like I'm pretty sure if you power the school up, there ain't gonna be no prom. Ain't gonna be no prom for the school, ain't gonna be no prom for you, definitely. You know what I mean? So good luck with that. And also, I know it's a song, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it like, has anyone been like intrigued by that? Did you see how he? I think I need to take him on a date now. He's a real
Yeah,
bad.
like what?
Yeah. That's one of the songs where I'm like, man, it's like I said, just the hook definitely yeah, the hook's crazy. That's all I can say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's all I can say.
I'm surprised you didn't like Forward March, man. I thought Forward March was that was probably my like surprise pick of the tape. One of the ones where I didn't like it maybe originally, and I listened to it, you know, for this review, and I was like, "Ain't that bad? This is okay. This is better than I expected." I'll say that it was definitely middle tier, not
Yeah.
on the lower end, but yeah, I'm surprised you didn't like that one.
If we were to do a surprise pick, honestly, one of the ones that you also don't like, Neighborhood Watch. That would be my surprise pick. Now the beat is weird. I don't know what it is, but it's weird as to how
Yeah,
you chopped it up and everything. But for some reason, I like it. I'm just
yeah,
like, because sometimes, like, when you hear, like, when you're so used to hearing like certain CH beats and certain chops and whatnot, if you hear it by itself, it's just like, and I'm thinking from like a rapper standpoint, I'm like, how would I attack this beat? Like, how am I
mhm,
going to rap on this, man? Like, because some beats is like easy, that's like flows like water, and then other ones, I'm like, what is he doing with this, man? I don't get
mhm,
it. I don't get it. And then you hear him rap on it. It's like, oh, okay, all right, it's the same thing. The hooks all right, verses are cool, but like I think that would be my surprise pick. Where I was like, first hearing it, I'm like, I don't know about this one. And then I'm like, nah, 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 yeah, I think
yeah,
so. Like that one meme of that one girl, I think she was from Vine, where she was like drinking something, and then she was like, uh,
yeah.
that's me. Listen to this song, like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on. He might have did something right there. So Neighborhood Watch would have been my surprise pick.
Yeah. Anything else you want to speak on about the tape? I know you want to talk about Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yeah. So that's another reason why I was so like conflicted on like my top three, because I'm like, I do like that song, but at the same time, there's other songs I was like, I think I like them better. But I was like, I
Mhm.
feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't bring it up at least. By the way, just so you guys know, the song Marilyn Monroe or Hope Witzel, there is a video Hamel Vision has out. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Hamel Vision, check them out. Just look it up. If you just look up the title of the name, that song should pop up immediately. Um, but yeah, so with this song, definitely a good song. It's one of those things where real life happens.
Mhm.
So if you guys are wondering about the name of the title, of course you guys know Marilyn Monroe, very popular, woman and back in her day. And then Hope Witzel, you're like, who's that? If you hear the song, Charles kind of like goes through like a story of like how women can, go through so much stuff within the industry, whether it's
Mhm.
entertainment, music, whatever, or it could be everyday life. Like sometimes women, they get bothered, harassed, promise favors and this
Mhm.
and that. And the Hope Witzel part is like the sad part about the song. So if you guys don't know or never heard the story of it, Hope Witzel, I want to say it was in 2009. A young girl, she was 13. She was interested in a guy, and they were, I guess I won't say they were sending pictures back and forth, but she at least sent a picture of herself to him. Somehow the picture got out and got exposed. So her whole school knew about it. Apparently, other people knew about it. And y'all know how that goes with cyberbullying. Of course, people could say, well, just stay off social media. I don't think that really matters when that actually goes to your school, because you're getting bullied in school, outside of
Mhm.
school, everywhere. Unfortunately, she decided to take her life. So rest in peace to her. Unfortunate situation. But I wanted to shed light on the conversation because there's a lot of times, and it still goes on now, where people are bullied inside of school, outside of school. They do something that's an embarrassing moment, which should only last for, let's say, 5 seconds, maybe a minute or two, but it's forever. We all heard the term the internet's forever, and it's one of those things where just remind people, like, of course there's certain things that go on the internet, and we got to be careful with our words, how we use them, what we share on social media, because you wouldn't want it to be you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we make the wrong things go viral, and you might not have meant harm by it, but that's someone's daughter, that's someone's, could have been someone's mother. That's a life that's been lost, and there's other lives that are being lost just because of incompetence and ignorance. So let's try to be kinder to each other. But that's definitely a song I think everyone should listen to. So
Yeah, good words there, man. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we kind of grew up in an era where we didn't have to worry about that too much, probably really at all. Because we, at least growing up in grade school, like, general education, there really wasn't like a social media thing. Maybe MySpace or Facebook was around when we graduated, but it was in its infancy. So we
yeah,
really
very
didn't,
much.
yeah, we didn't know about it. So we did embarrassing stuff. We didn't have like pictures. We didn't have like cell phones with like cameras on them. And if we did, those cameras was ass. So like you could see something in those pictures or whatever. But when stuff happened to us or embarrassing stuff or like fights, things, the only thing we had to worry about was people who saw it, the rumors that went out about it, and maybe last for like a week. But after that, everybody kind of moved on. In that era, man, it's like everybody's just looking to create some type of moment and use that to just like consistently do this bullying thing or whatever. So, like you said, people need to be more aware of not. It may seem funny in the moment, but think about the ramifications that can have to somebody down the line. Would you want that to happen to you when you get older? Would you want that to happen to like your kids or whatever? So, but kids are stupid. For the most part, they don't think that way. But I wish they did. I wish there were more people or better parents in their lives that teach them that, you know, let's not do these things. Also, back then they didn't have a what's the law of a revenge porn, basically.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
that he would have got destroyed for that anyway. That would have put an end to that immediately, even though they shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. That's
Not,
another story.
Also, not only that, like the revenge law, they had that. They didn't have that then, but also another thing, just it doesn't. And some people don't understand this. Like, of course, she was 13, so she was a child.
Right.
Child pornography.
Correct.
Even for some people that don't know, even if you are, a child sending
Mm.
child pornography, that's still
That's still, yeah.
that's
Mhm.
still bad, and also you can get in so much trouble for that. It's not like, oh, it's just adults when they do it, they get in trouble.
Yeah.
No, you will
Yeah.
get in there just as much trouble. Like, don't at all. Like,
The
no.
way that it is described, you are still in possession of.
Yeah.
Right.
And imagine, like, trying to explain that, when you get older, like, you got to knock on someone's door, hey, just to let you know,
Right.
because they're not going to hear that. They're going to hear, like, wait, you did what? Oh, no, and
Mhm.
there's regardless, there's no type of explanation you can give to be like, oh, no, it was cool. It was cool when I did it. It's not cool. I didn't do it when I was like
Right.
25, 30. No, that doesn't matter,
You
man.
sound
Like,
worse actually saying it that way.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, like, nah, like you said, and it's a shame. I don't want to be in a situation where people care when it's too late, because it's too late, like the ramifications and the consequences have already happened. So it's the thing where, like, we just got to be smarter and just try to educate people more on situations like that. And like I said, just social media etiquette. Like,
Mhm.
no matter if it's, news or just memes or whatever, it's the same thing. Let's say me and you, like, we have jobs where they say, hey, don't post certain things on social media that could, get you fired.
Mhm.
Just don't. If you have to think about it, just don't even do it. Just keep it like that.
That's a simple thing. And there's a longer discussion about how we were never prepared for social media ever. Like there was never any like real training, and we were never meant to have millions of people's opinions at our fingertips. That's another conversation that no one really wants to have. But it's like we weren't built for that, right? But
Right.
like I said, rest in peace to that girl. I think like I said, it's a good song to listen to. Charles does this thing where he always finds a way to like throw in a message there, um, where you least expect it. Um, and that's actually a pretty good song. I listened to that song back. I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. And it's one of those ones where like I've been around the house just saying, "Be my Marilyn Monroe." I've been doing that all day today. So listen to the song. It's definitely one of those ones where I didn't want to like rate it either top or bottom because I think it's too important to do that. I think it's just an important song in itself.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. That's
yeah.
why I didn't want to put it on my on like my top three or whatever. 'Cause I'm just like
Mhm.
it's more important than like a top three or whatever. It's just the
Yeah,
conversation needs to be had and the song just needs to be listened to. And like I said, make sure y'all check out the video by Hamel Vision.
for sure. Before we rate this, I do want to ask you a quick question that has nothing to do with this tape at all. Uh, who are your top three Looney Tune characters?
First off, Daffy. I've always whoever the duck is in whatever Looney Tunes, Tiny Tunes, it's always going to be the duck. So Daffy, is my number one.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, now you're making me think. I guess number two, I'm gonna have to say Bugs. I've never really even been a big fan of Bugs because, of course, there's a rabbit season, duck season type thing, so they're kind of like rivals. But when it comes to multiverses, like that's my main Bugs Bunny.
Mhm.
So I've got more appreciation for him. He's funny too. I can't, you can't knock Bugs. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, like he's a star. So if I had to say third, Looney Tunes, man, wow. Because like
Yeah.
after that, I'm kind of just like, you know what? I guess Taz, just because he's very entertaining, even though he didn't say much or
Right.
anything of value, but
Right.
I'll say Taz.
Right. I think any list is kind of like incomplete without Bugs and Daffy in your top three. I think it's just difficult. They got the most star time. I feel like uh, they work well off each other. Like anytime they were on the screen, you were laughing. It's just there's no way possible of that or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Then the third one is just it's gonna depend on your preference. Like, are you gonna laugh at the stuttering pig? You know what I'm saying? Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, they had their thing, but they're really just they do best with each other. So my underrated pick here is Foghorn Leghorn. Foghorn Leghorn is hilarious, but I also think that I've figured out the code. I think Foghorn Leghorn is racist.
okay. I think I know where we're going with this, but I'm gonna hear you out because you might be right. You might be right. At the same time, though, like that's not going to surprise me because you gotta remember when these cartoons were made. They I don't know if you ever seen it, but they do have some of those episodes that are like in the vault and they're never coming back out the vault because it's
Uh-huh.
just like, yeah, we were making racist cartoons and we didn't think it was a big deal. And then it's like, oh, y'all are mad about it. I don't get why you're mad about it. Oh, that being racist isn't good. Oh, my bad. But go ahead.
Ain't nothing worse than like being like, yo, don't you remember that episode? What's got? And they're like, nah, we didn't. We never did that. Then I look on YouTube like, no, it's right. It's right here. Anyway, I think Foghorn like first of all, this is all a joke, right? But I just one day I was watching random Looney Tunes episode, and Foghorn Leghorn uses the word. First of all, he has a country accent, right?
Yeah.
That country Colonel Sanders accent is wild. So right then, like you have to be careful what you say, no matter what you say, sir. But he says boy a lot. I say boy, like all right, bro, like that's. And I think like in one of the episodes he had like a whip, and I was like, all right, bro, what are we doing here, son? That's crazy.
Yeah, you got a point. That's why I figured you were going to say the boy thing because I'm like, I try to give credence to certain people. 'Cause I'm like, when you're from the South, everybody says that type of stuff or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, man, y'all know when y'all say it and how y'all say it. Sometimes there's yeah, like we talk about it with certain slang and certain vernacular we have. Like we know the difference between you good and you good.
Right.
We know. So don't try to play us and think that we don't know when you do it. Like it's
Yeah.
in the tone, not what you say, it's how you say it. And we know. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. But take away all that, he is hilarious though.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, you just look at it for cartoons. It's funny as hell, man.
I
Um,
think another thing, real quick, iconic wise, I forget who it was, but I kept seeing this keep getting brought up. I think it was a shirt from the 90s, early 90s, where it's like Bugs and Taz on it, and it's like in that early crisscross era where people wear the clothes backwards, because like people are still looking for that shirt or something like that, where like they're wearing the clothes backwards on them, and it's just like I think someone's like, yo, that's not like a real like shirt made by Warner Brothers or Looney Tunes or whoever, and it's just like, oh, I didn't know that, but I don't care. It's still fire because just you know what it is. It's like anytime you take cartoons and you put like some type of like hip hop element to them, it's like, yo, it's fly. Like I'm sorry, it's fire. So
It almost never fails.
pretty much.
We just listened to Autumn Harvest, man. Autumn Harvest is the bipolar rabbit. Let us know what you're giving as far as review, any pros and cons, and let us know what you're giving as far as character rating, man.
So with this tape, I had a lot of thinking to do because at some point, like even before we were even going to like have an idea to even record this episode, I remember like months ago, I was like, I haven't heard this tape in like a while. Let me go listen to it. And like I did like a halfway listen, and I remember being like, no, I didn't finish it. I was like, man, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel whenever we gotta record this.
Yeah.
So within the last week, listening to this, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's like it's my thing is this. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, yo, I love like simple 2+2 South rap, at bat, cat, sat, dat, hat. Like, no, that's not the type of rap I necessarily listen to. I listen to all rap. I listen to all genres. But I remember just being like, man, it's the rapidy. I'm like, yo, just on this tape, I don't know what it is about it. But listen to it more and more, and me actually writing some notes down. I'm like, honestly, I think I might have been too harsh on the tape. So I'm going to give an official rating, and then I'm going to give my own rating that doesn't fucking matter, So officially, the rating I'm going to give it is a good tape overall. Honestly, it's a good tape. There's not that many songs I dislike. Like the rapping is good. The beats are crazy. It's just sometimes the rappy rap gets a little too much. But overall, honestly, it's a good tape. So officially, I'm going to give it the base Sonic rating. But what I was thinking about giving it originally was, I think I was going to give it a Mecha Sonic. I'd love to give it Mecha Sonic too, because I'm like, I've heard better, and I think the problem was the reason I was going to give it that was because that was like more of my own personal feeling, and I was comparing it to the other 5 tapes that came out in this time. And I'm like, nah, I wasn't doing that with the other tapes. That's not fair. Like, I actually give it an objective listen. I'm being a little bit too biased, So I was like, nah, like overall, like it's not one that, I go back to often, but overall though, listen to, I'm like, the songs really aren't that bad. So overall, Bass Sonic. Officially Bass Sonic.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a Bass Sonic too. I have 5 songs that I really, really love here. Always can go back to those. They're really good to listen to no matter what time I'm in. And then the other 10, I was like, okay, there are some songs here that maybe I wasn't, feeling at the time, but now I'm like, okay, these are good records. These are good songs to listen to. So I think it's like maybe a 2 or 3 more that I could probably maybe add to a playlist. I think how you feel about the tape is going to depend on how you feel about the rapping style. That's really where we are with this tape. If you're not into him doing the really rappy rap real fast, like it's almost like the beat and him and the raps are like racing each other, then you may not like this tape. But if you're open to something, if you're open to that type of style, I think you're gonna find a lot of flips that are crazy, a lot of chops that are crazy, a lot of songs that are that could again go in your playlist and some good bars here, man. He's got a lot of good the sequence of bars that are on certain songs where you're like, oh, he's doing a really good job here. But yeah, overall, I would say Bass Sonic for me, for sure.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I think that's another reason why I always stress, like, it's always good for us to make sure we're listening to this multiple times because, like, number one, like, we're trying to make sure that our word is actually meaning something, that we're not just saying, oh, everything's good, or all this after a certain time period sucks. Like, after this, Charles fell off a cliff. Like, no, like, there's there's actually, some meaning and some substance to like our ratings and whatnot. So like, and honestly, it's one of those things where if I went with my gut feeling originally, it's like, okay, well, I would have just gave it, not the fairest of listens and not the greatest of reviews, but it's like it deserves more than that, along with other tapes. And sometimes I think some of these tapes, it helps that Charles has so much music because maybe I wasn't in the mood for Autumn Harvest when I first replayed it, just re-listening to it over and over, which you should do with all projects, not even Charles Hamilton music, just all music, just re-listen again and figure out if you actually like it or not. Because it could be the opposite. I could have originally been like, yo, this is fire. Then I go back to it and be like, maybe not. Because I've actually done that with some projects that we've reviewed already. Where I'm like, oh, I remember this. And I'm like, yeah, it was okay at first, but now I'm realizing, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not as great as I thought.
Yeah, man. But let us know what you guys think. How do you feel about Autumn Harvest? How do you feel about Charles' rapping style on this? And what are your favorite songs? Let us know. You can subscribe to us over on the YouTube, StarCHaser Central. I believe we just hit 150 subscribers, so shout out to everybody over there. You can also follow us on Twitter, StarCH Central. You can follow us on the individual pages. I'm at Stick Around 54. That's STIK Around 54 on Twitter and Instagram. Mike, where can they find you, buddy?
On Instagram, the Mike Jackson, Mike Jackson. On Twitter, Mike D Jackson, Mike DEE Jackson. That's 1D, 2 E's. Holla at me. Make sure you guys are following Charles on Twitter at Charles Hamilton. Make sure you are subscribed to him on YouTube at the talented Mr. Hamilton, where Charles, every now and again, he'll post some new music, but he'll also go live as well, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a live. Normally it's on Fridays. Sometimes he might do one on Thursday. Actually, I want to say maybe Saturday he did a live, or Sunday. It's like a Saturday or Sunday he did a live on Twitter. So that's another reason why you should make sure you subscribe to him on Twitter, because he might do a live and you never know. He might do one on Instagram if he gets his account back up or he's still on there. Who knows? But also, make sure you guys are following and looking at his blog as well. Enter thehamilton.blogspot.com. Daily blogs sometimes not, but you never know. He sometimes posts lyrics, sometimes he's explaining something, talking about life, and I want to say that's it. Yeah.
Yep, that's the spiel. But be sure to let us know what you want us to review, any specials you want us to do. Yeah, I think we only have one more of the July 4th tapes to do. But we've been trying to do different series. A lot of people are throwing some different series out for us. There's an obscure tape that you want us to review. Let us know. But also drum up some interest in that tape. I feel like when we do some of the obscure tapes, maybe everybody's a little apprehensive as far as going to listen or going to view the episode. But that's what this pod's about, man. We're looking at the tapes that maybe not everybody's aware of. And who knows, you might find your next favorite song on there. I know I've done it a couple of times on tapes that I've never listened to, and then I end up loving. So keep your mind open, man. Keep your mind open. Mike, you have any words for the people before we head up?
Oh, yeah, sure. Once again, like I said, we just hit 150. By the time you guys see this, we'll be in counting. So hopefully we'll be closer to 200 than we think. Who knows? We might even be past 200 by that point. You never know. But either way, thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for following on everything. Thank you for keeping in touch with us and just engaging with us, because this is what this is supposed to be about. Talking about Charles Hamilton, music, moments, and more. Probably the most important thing. Number 2, wrap it up. 3, make sure you spay and neuter your pets. That's all I got.
Shout out to Bob Barker, man.
Shout out.
Yeah,
Double B's. Big B's.
Wow, that's wild.
John Wall.
we are logging out of the StarCHaser Central podcast, where we always encourage you to follow your dreams
and reach for the stars.
Tacos, we about to get tacos. We about to get tacos. We about to get tacos. We about to get anybody get tacos.